My family, I greet you. Welcome to another one here on Truth and Love the Church, where we speak that truth in love. So, in line with some of the Trump prophecies that we've been sharing with you, so today we're just going to be talking about, the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, issue. And some of you have been saying that there's a prophecy that was released by William Marion Branham.
Now, I predicted and said I saw a great woman stand up, beautiful looking, dressed in real highly royals like purple, dressed in real highly royals like purple, dressed in real highly royals like purple. And I got little princess down here. She was a great ruler in the United States, perhaps the Catholic Church. A woman, some woman. I don't know it'll be the Catholic Church. I don't know. I can't say. The only thing I seen a woman, that was all. But this is a woman's nation. This nation is number 13 in prophecy. She's got 13 stripes, 13 stars. She's started with 13 colonies, 13, everything's 13. Appears in the 13th chapter of Revelations even. She's 13 and she's a woman nation. Thus saith the Lord, there'll be a woman ruler for the union. She'll either be president, vice president, or it'll be the Catholic Church as a woman. I've seen her, a great woman. The nation bowed to her. It'll be one before the end time. These three curtains, I say this in the name of the Lord, don't you forget it. There's an iron curtain, a bamboo curtain, and a purple curtain. Watch that purple curtain. Amen. Keep your eye on that. Amen. Oh my, how we see now the Antichrist beginning to unfold itself, taking a hold in the nation. Thus saith the Lord. Write it down and find out if you young people. See if it happens. If it isn't, I'm a false prophet.
So, when I was just listening to this prophecy, I actually was thinking that, it was fulfilled after the 2020 elections. But some of you have been saying that, doesn't this actually say that she's going to win the 2024 elections? Well, I don't know about that. You tell me in the comments below. I just told you, my family, all I'll just be doing is you give me the prophecies from respected prophetic voices. We just look at the prophecies and we upload them and we keep them there. And after the event would have unfolded, after all those events would have unfolded, we'll then come back and refer back to those prophecies. So that was a great prophet in the person of William Marion Branham. And for him to say that if this doesn't happen, I'm a false prophet. And we actually saw everything, coming out exactly as he said in detail. All right. Now we have Pastor Chris Oyakilome. And for some of you maybe who don't know the history, William Marion Branham was the spiritual father to T.L. Osborne. T.L. Osborne was the spiritual father to Archbishop Idahosa. Then Archbishop Idahosa was the spiritual father to Pastor Chris. And Pastor Chris said this to say, prophetically, he was also spot on when you talked about Kamala Harris taking over from Joe Biden.
Listen to this. Okay, you say, why are they telling it? I want to tell you, it's a principle. It is a pledge. It's a spiritual pledge, meaning Joe Biden has accepted it. And so by the principle of the cult, he must now go and let it out. He must say it. It's registered in the spirit that this is the pledge. So if he were to come into office, there are things that he will not be able to do or say because it is pledged.
And remember, my family, this was September 2020 and the elections actually took place in November 2020. Just to show you that, this was actually accurate.
You don't have a voice. You're not the one. It's not your administration. It's a Harris administration. So it's Harris we're going to be talking to. His own is to say, okay. So he's supposed to lead the way into the government, and in comes Harris. Now, I want you to listen to this. Very important. Biden is supposed to lead the way into the government. In comes Harris. If we don't pay attention to prophecy, they pass us by, and then we wake up and say, why, what's going on? Now, there are many who will be amazed that I actually said this to them, because I wonder where they're listening. Now, I want to remind you, this was before the elections, all right? And I told them that I spoke with certain people in 2019, and I told them that there is a plan to rig the United States elections the next year, 2020. And I said, what we have to do is to pray that the other side will get to know about the strategy and do something about it. Okay, keep listening. We have to pray that the other side will see this and not only leak it out, they can fight it. Now, some of the games are really out. In fact, they're not even hiding some of the things they're planning to do. There's some other things. So that's one reason they're not campaigning a lot. It's not about COVID. They wanted to stop the other guys from campaigning because they don't care about your vote. They know they can get something counted anyway. But if you pray, you can change this thing. That's the reason for the uprising of riots and protests and so on and so forth. You think those things are happening by themselves? Who's sponsoring them? Who's paying them? Some of them have given their confessions. I've warned. It's a warning. At different times, the deep state will support any side where it can have its candidate. So it's about what the deep state wants. And the deep state is about what Lucifer wants, because they are pledged in allegiance to Lucifer. Look at the nuances. Last week, I want you to look at the nuances. Last week, Kamala Harris, the vice presidential candidate for Joe Biden, I told you about the Fabian socialism. And I explained to you three things: leak it, deny it, hit hard. She was making a speech with a clever supposed mistake. She called it the Harris-Biden government administration with Joe Biden as president. Where was it ever heard that the vice presidential candidate's name came first in any address? She called it the Harris-Biden administration. In fact, she actually said Harris administration. Then she seemed to correct it, but it was a leak out. She called it the Harris administration, then corrected it as Harris-Biden administration with Joe Biden as president. Guess what? A short while later, Joe Biden himself makes a speech and calls it Harris-Biden administration. You think they were mistaken? No. It's what I told you. Leak it. Because this guy, in the spirit, things are happening in the spirit. I told you on a certain day, I said, what is happening right now in the United States? I said, it's a Trojan horse. The next day, President Trump called Joe Biden a Trojan horse. And somebody sent me a message, said, Pastor Chris, I think Trump is listening to you. So he's supposed to lead the way into the government, and in comes Harris. Now, I want you to listen to this. Very important. Biden is supposed to lead the way into the government. In comes Harris. You know, if we don't pay attention to prophecy, they pass us by, and then we wake up and say, why, what's going on? Now, there are many who will be amazed that I actually said this to them, because I wonder were they listening. Listen, see what I mean? So now they are letting you understand why. Okay, you say, why are they telling it? I want to tell you, it's a principle. It is a pledge. It's a spiritual pledge, meaning Joe Biden has accepted it. And so by the principle of the cult, he must now go and let it out. He must say it. He must say it. So he goes out and he says it. Harris echoes it. He says it. So it's registered in the spirit that this is the pledge. So if he were to come into office, there are things that he will not be able to do or say because it is pledged. You don't have a voice. You're not the one. It's not your administration. It's a Harris administration. So it's Harris we're going to be talking to. His own is to say, okay. If you don't know about the Trojan horse, find out about the destruction of Troy. So that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. It's playing out. Do you hear that? That's what you're saying. It's playing out. All right.
So my family, some of you have been, hitting me up on Telegram saying that, Brother Joe, does it actually mean that Kamala Harris is actually winning the 2024 presidential elections? My family, as I always say, tell me what you think in the comments below. I don't think Pastor Chris is actually implying that she will win, but he's actually saying that, the Joe Biden administration in courts, it was actually a Harris administration. And the like, as for how it will play out in the 2024 elections, keep watching the Your Love Word specials with Pastor Chris. All right, you download the Pastor Chris Digital Library on your Google Play Store or App Store, or you just stream it live on YouTube. There is a YouTube channel that broadcasts Pastor Chris's messages. That is Watch Pastor Chris. So you go there and you check out the latest updates. So tell me what you think, my family, about this in the comments below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll meet you in the next one as always. God bless you.